Today I'm going to take you on a virtual tour of our Serenity Series ponds. Let's get started. So you walk out your sliding door every morning with a cup of coffee and need some inspiration. This will do it. Welcome to Sparta, New Jersey. We've got a brand new pond that we just created about 3 weeks ago. This is one of our Serenity Series packages. It's about a 14 by 14 pond with 12 or 13 feet of stream. We use some beautiful indigenous fieldstone boulders. They're covered in lichens and mosses. Just look at some of the awesome cascades and stream sections we got using this stone. We're up on a big deck on the back of this house. This is one of the main viewing areas for this water feature. Now, if we can catch from inside the house as well as outdoor areas, that's always the best case scenario. And in this situation, we were able to do that. There's a big living room that's right off the deck. You can see out that sliding glass door to those beautiful waterfalls. And then over here, this is going to be a future grilling station. There'll be a grill on this side, some sort of counter space here. As you're standing here cooking for your family, looking out, you've got a great view. Now there are future plans to also create a patio space out by this beautiful pond that we just created. Somewhere in this area, possibly flagstone or paved rails will be set up here, maybe even a fire pit to get up close and personal and interactive with this new pond. We are 30 inches deep with this. There is a fish cave in here, underwater lighting, aeration, as well as aquatic planting. Being that this is brand new, things are just starting to get going in this pond, so it's got a tinge of green, which is good. You want things to come to life. Life is starting to happen in here. You'll start to get a little bit of algae on the rocks. After a little bit of time, this will get balanced out to the point where it'll be beautifully clear. We harvested these boulders directly from this property. That's not always the best option for us because usually if people have boulders on the property, they might be difficult to get to. There's a lot more work to get the boulders to the site as opposed to just getting them trucked in and delivered. But here, they literally were right behind the pond, so it was super easy. And these are just gorgeous, gorgeous rocks, covered in moss and lichens. Instant age. These have been sitting out in nature, exposed to the elements for millennia. So you just can't replicate this unless you can find rocks that have been out on the surface, exposed to all the elements. Those beautiful textures, the colors from the lichen, all those mosses. This is the ideal type of rock to use in a water feature. We're starting out our waterfall with a 6,000 biofalls. That's doing all the heavy lifting. That is our biological filter. What I love about this, number one, it does a great job. Number two, we can hide it. We don't have to look at parts and pieces when we're looking at our water feature. We're flowing up through graduations of filtration. There's 2 filter mats inside there, followed by bags of bioblocks. So the water's flowing up through all that filter media, getting great contact time in there for where the beneficial bacteria are going to live, scrubbing the water before it comes out and starts our waterfall with a really natural look. Over here on the far end of the pond, we've got the other half of our filtration, which is our skimmer. Pulling water in from the surface of the pond, we see we've got a completely clean surface. Into here, we've got our basket, filter mat, and pump, all doing the job to push the water back up to our biological filter and complete the circuit. You can only imagine what this pond is going to look like in years to come. All these mulch areas will be full of planting. It's going to bring everything in closer to the edge here, really kind of blurring that line between the pond and the landscape, capping this thing off, providing that cherry on top of a beautiful, beautiful pond. Welcome to Hackettstown, New Jersey. We've got the perfect wooded setting here. This whole backdrop just screams like park.
That's it?
No.
Just park?
This wooded backdrop is perfect for a natural looking pond. It actually looks like a park back here. We've got a nice flagstone patio and fire pit, which backs up to this 15 by 20 pond. There's a retaining wall here that holds up the edge of the pond so you can actually sit here and get up close and personal with the fish. This pond's about 30 inches deep. It's got some big boulders in it and the whole surround. We've got a nice waterfall in the backdrop. Pretty simplistic, just 2 drops coming into the pond, but it looks fantastic. Aquatic plants are doing extremely well, even in this shaded spot. Look at the size of this taro that's growing in here. And this place is fully shaded. The water is crystal clear right to the bottom. You can see every piece of gravel in this pond. We've got some really nice big koi in here, which have plenty of room to roam. What's keeping this pond clean is an aquascape 6,000 biofalls and a 1,000 skimmer. We're moving about 5,000 gallons an hour through that waterfall, which is the perfect amount of water for a sheet style waterfall like this. These are all capstones which have been sitting out in the landscape for ages and ages, getting all that beautiful texture on it, and it looks great in this scenario. The waterfall is directed so you can see it from the porch and all the windows in the back of the house. When they're sitting out here with the chairs in the fire pit, they've got a serene environment to enjoy. This started out as a tranquility package pond, but we really took it to the outside edge of what's possible. We got a 10 by 14 pond, but it's far from ordinary. We've got some large boulders in here. Upwards of 30 plus tons of boulders were used to create this pond and waterfall. And look at that waterfall. From the pond up to where it starts, you're almost 6 feet tall. That's a lot of area for us to come down and use all that elevation to create these beautiful cascades. We've got an SLD 5,000 to 9,000 pump in here, which is giving us all this volume for these cascades. Starting up at the top, we've got our 6,000 biofalls, which is the biological filter that's keeping this pond so nice and clean. And the way we hit it here, flanking these large boulders, using the rocks up top in the rock tray, it looks like it's welling out of the hillside, which is always what we're after when we're talking about creating a waterfall. How you start it is everything. The last thing you want to see if you spend all your time to create a beautiful waterfall is a pipe sticking out of the top. We don't like to do that. We want to make sure everything's hidden but still functional. Coming down through, we use the topography to create wing walls outside here with the boulders, and then have this cavern, big boulder crashing waterfall right in the middle of it all. Using that big volume of water to split it, really send it out as far as we could on this side, using the whole width of this rock, and even going on to that next rock there, where we've got a little ledge here that's keeping the water in place, sending a waterfall down. We're also spilling into this pool here, which if you look on this side, this is something we really like to do. We've got a cobbled area that beaches down to meet the water surface. What a natural look that is. As these plants start to grow in, they'll really start to blur this out, and that transition from the water up into the landscape will just be seamless. And then finishing off, coming down into the pond with all these different cascades. I don't know how you get any better than that. Welcome to Millburn, New Jersey. This is a beautiful pond. We've got a backyard that's got just about everything in it. Putting greens, pavilions, and an awesome mountain looking stream waterfall feeding into this pond. This is about a 14 by 14 pond, which is the size of our Serenity Series pond. It's got a big boulder waterfall which stretches all the way back to that maple back there and makes a turn. One of the things I really like about this particular situation is the waterfall starts back there behind all this foliage, and you can't see the origination, and it just kind of appears, giving you that mystery where you want to come up around the yard to see what the rest of the waterfall looks like. This pond is crystal clear right to the bottom. We've got a 6,000 biofalls, which is filtering this, and a 1,000 skimmer on this end, which is where the pump is housed. This pond is using an SLD 5 to 9,000 pump, which means it adjusts from 5,000 up to 9,000 gallons per hour. Right now it's running at its lowest setting. Just a nice tranquil sound. It sounds beautiful. I'm sure if they're having company over, maybe they ramp it up and get the party going. Lots of great aquatic planting in here. Up in this stream section, I really like where that plant goes from the grass all the way down to meet the edge of the waterfall, actually in the waterfall. What a great naturalistic look that is. We've got some water dock here where the water is flowing around, and then just more aquatic plantings as you look around the pond. 3 big stands of Thalia are in here. That plant grows anywhere from 4 feet up to 6 feet tall. So if you're looking for something with some height, Thalia is where it's at. And it's hardy too in New Jersey. This is the biofalls filter. And as you can see, you can't tell. It's completely hidden. These plants have a hanging root structure. So that water is flowing up through here. These roots are grabbing all those nutrients that are coming up through there, doing a great job of filtering the water as it comes up through the plant and feeds down the stream. We're making a 180-degree turn from where the waterfall starts all the way to where it hits the pond. So it's like a big horseshoe. Looks fantastic.